The New York Knicks are NBA champions. Let me say that again. The Knicks are NBA champions. And after decades of waiting, after years of disappointment, after all the jokes, all the heartbreak, all the rebuilds, it's finally over. But as I've been thinking about this championship, I keep coming back to one question. What was the moment that actually won it? Not the final buzzer, not the trophy presentation, not the celebration, the moment where everything changed. And honestly, I think I know exactly when it happened. Before we talk about one moment, let's talk about this team because championship teams usually have something special about them. This Knicks team never panicked. Down in games, they responded. Injuries, they responded. Bad shooting nights, they responded. Every challenge was met with another answer. That's why this championship feels earned, not lucky, but earned. So for me, everything goes back to Game 4. Down 29 points, season momentum slipping away, Spurs gaining confidence, the series starting to feel dangerous, then the Knicks fought back, possession by possession, stop by stop, bucket by bucket. And that comeback was not just historic, it changed the psychology of the finals. Suddenly, the Spurs stopped believing that they could break New York, and suddenly the Knicks knew that they could survive anything. Championships are often won mentally before they're won physically, and I think that comeback proved it. Then came the adjustment. The thing I don't think enough people are talking about is Jose Alvarado and Jalen Brunson together. That lineup changed everything. For most of the finals, San Antonio loaded up on Brunson, the traps, the pressure, the blitzes, and then Mike Brown gave Brunson another creator, another ball handler, and another guy who could attack. And suddenly you see the floor opens up, suddenly Brunson could play off ball, and suddenly the Spurs had another problem. And championship series are often decided by one adjustment. That felt like the adjustment. And let's talk about OG because everybody is going to remember the offense, the highlights, the celebrations, but OG Anunoby's defense was championship level basketball, especially against Wembanyama. Nobody completely stops Wemby, nobody, but OG made life harder, more physical, more uncomfortable, and more exhausting. And throughout the series, that mattered. Every possession mattered, every contest mattered, and every bump mattered. And one reason this title feels different is because it was not one superstar carrying everything. Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, Jose Alvarado, Mikal Bridges, Deuce McBride, different nights and different heroes. That's what made this team special. When one player struggled, somebody else stepped up, and that is championship basketball. And then there is Jalen Brunson, because let's be honest, this championship changes everything. The conversation around Brunson is different now. He's no longer just a star, he's no longer just a great Knick, he's part of Knicks history forever. When people talk about the greatest moments this franchise has ever seen, his name is going to be included, and rightfully so. But maybe the coolest part is not the basketball, it's the fans, the people who waited decades, the people who never stopped watching, and the people who sat through losing seasons, lottery picks, and bad trades, disappointment after disappointment. This championship belongs to them too. Because nobody stuck with this team when it was easy, they stuck with this team because it was New York, and now they finally get their moment. And what's crazy is that the championship was not won at Madison Square Garden, it was won in San Antonio on the road in front of Spurs fans. And honestly, I think that makes it even sweeter because great championship teams do not need perfect conditions. They don't need their home crowd to carry them, they don't need everything to go their way, they go into somebody else's building and take it. And that's exactly what the Knicks did. At some point in the fourth quarter, you could feel it. The Spurs crowd got quieter, the energy shifted, the belief started disappearing from the building, and meanwhile, the Knicks looked completely locked in. No panic, no rushing, no celebrating too early. Just a group that knew what was sitting right in front of them, a championship. And after everything this franchise has been through throughout the last few decades, seeing them close it out on the road against a talented Spurs team made the moment feel even more legitimate. Nobody can say they just got lucky, nobody can say they had an easy path, they earned every second of it. And honestly, I think that's why this championship is going to hit so hard in New York. It was not built around one super team, it was not built around one unstoppable player carrying everybody. It was built around a group. Brunson gave the Knicks a leader, Cat gave them scoring and spacing, Bridges gave them two-way stability, OG gave them elite defense, and Hart gave them energy and toughness. Mitchell Robinson gave them physicality, Alvarado gave them pressure and playmaking, Deuce gave them defense off the bench. Everybody mattered in their own way. That's why this feels like a team championship, not just a star championship. And I think Knicks fans appreciate that more than anything because for years the conversation was always about finding one savior, one superstar, and one player who could rescue the franchise. Instead, the Knicks won because they built a complete basketball team. The other thing that is crazy to think about is that this title changes the way that people people will talk about this era of Knicks basketball forever. Jalen Brunson is no longer just the guy who signed with New York, he is a champion. Mike Brown is no longer just the coach who took over a talented roster, he is the coach who brought a championship back to New York for over a half a century. And every player on this roster just became part of franchise history. Years from now, Knicks fans are going to remember exactly where they were for this run. They're going to remember the Brunson performances, the OG defense, the Josh Hart hustle plays, the Mitchell Robinson rebounds, and the Game 4 comeback that felt impossible. That's the thing about championships. The games eventually become memories, but the feeling lasts forever, and Knicks fans just got a feeling that they've been waiting decades for. So yes, our Knicks are champions, but when I look back at this run, I don't just think about the trophy, I think about the resilience, the adjustments, the belief, the comeback, the moments where this team just refused to quit, because championships are not won in one night. They are built over months, over adversity, over challenges, and that's why this title feels so special. The New York Knicks are NBA champions, and nobody can ever take that away. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Knicks content. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.